Okay, let's go over some vocab. So, if we've got fractions, the number on top is called the numerator, and the number on the bottom is called the denominator. Those are just words that we use to describe. If we've got square roots, what is the square root sign called that starts with an R? It's a radical, and you all knew that already. But did you know what the number under the radical is called?
The base.
The mother.
Don't know it? Radican. Oh, close. So, from now on, yes, you're taking notes. From now on, I'm going to use the word radicand, and I expect you to know what I'm talking about. When I say radicand, I'm talking about the number that is under the radical sign. The number that is being square rooted. Okay, so what are we doing when we square root a number?
You square.
We are finding what is multiplied by itself to get there.
Oh, very good description, Kyle. What number could I square to get 16? What number would I square to get 16? To get the radical. 4. Okay, yes. So, in other words, what number can you square to get 16? 4. I can square 4 to get 16.
Yep.
Let me tell you what some people are going to do on their quiz next week. Because I love showing you what people do wrong so that you won't do it. But then some of you still do it. So the square root of 16 is, some people are going to write that on their quiz. Is that right? Can I mark that right? No. That's saying the square root of 16 is 16. And that doesn't make any sense. So you don't put squared on your answer. The square root of 16 is 4. Because 4 squared is 16.
Cynthia, I have a question.
Oh, don't tell me that. Yes.
So if we put the square root of 16 equals the square root of 16, wouldn't it be?
Then you haven't simplified it.
Oh.
So what we're learning today is how to simplify radicals. For example, I've talked many times about you would not go into McDonald's and say, I want 6 halves chicken nuggets. You would say, I want 3 chicken nuggets. So if you say square root of 16, you haven't simplified it. That's what the homework hotline said, square root 9. They would never say square root 9. They would say press 3, right? Because square root 9 is 3. That's the simplified version. All right. These are the perfect squares from 1 to 12. You are a perfect square if your square root is a whole number. If your square root is an integer, you're a perfect square. I recommend that later on this weekend, you memorize the perfect squares from 1 to 12. I bet you already know most of them.
I do.
Yeah, I do
What?
already.
So don't change the
It'll just make your life easier. You don't have to copy all these down because your calculator can tell you what they are. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, okay? Let's try some. Cynthia, square root of 49.
7.
Ah, I said Cynthia, but she knew it.
5, 7,
Addison, square root of 25.
11.
Emily, square root of 121. 11. I promise that if you know your perfect squares, simplifying radicals will be easier for you. It will be. All right. When the radicand, if it's a perfect square, your life is easy, your life is good, you move on. If it's not a perfect square, then you need to simplify it. Simplifying a radical is kind of like reducing a fraction. So if I have 3/9, that would reduce to
1/3.
1/3. Now, 1/3 is the simplest that 3/9 can get. But, so a radical, I can simplify a radical, but I can also approximate a radical by asking the calculator. And that's what some of you were trying to do on the Mad Math Minute. You weren't simplifying, you were approximating. What is 1/3 approximately?
0.33.
0.3. That is not exact. That is exact, that's not exact.
Put a line on it.
So, well, okay, it's still not exact. We keep it as fractions. Addison.
Apparently there is an equation on how to approximate it without the use of a calculator.
Oh, sure. I mean, because people have been taking square roots for all of time. We're going to learn how to simplify it without the use of a calculator. But we're not going to get the exact decimal version that goes on forever and ever. By the way, someone noticed when we did our Mad Minute, when you take the square root and you press math, enter, enter, it doesn't turn it into a fraction. Why is that? Who knows?
That's be a whole number.
Never ending. Do you know what it's called?
Irrational number.
What? Irrational. It's an irrational number. You cannot represent it with a fraction. It is an irrational number. Okay. Immediately, if not this. Okay. So let's move on. You have seen this before, but I'm gonna tell you a story that will remind you how to simplify a
It's gonna
radical.
be really corny.
Of course it is. Okay.
Rad.
Once upon a time, in a town called Numberland, the prime numbers developed an evil scheme to take over the world.
No way.
Dun, dun, dun. What does it mean to be a prime number?
You're not divisible by two. You're not divisible.
Not divisible by anything except for
One.
yourself and one.
Number.
So is 18 prime?
Yes.
No. Is 19 prime? Yes. Is 21 prime? No. Is 27 prime? No. Is 29 prime? Yes. Ooh, some of us need to go remind ourselves what prime numbers are. Okay. So, the authorities took action and decided to throw all the prime numbers in jail. Because, I mean, they're going to take over the world. They deserve to go in jail. Okay. The jails were shaped like radicals. So, here's the jail. Looks like a radical. But the prime numbers were too smart for the authorities. They found that if they could locate an identical prime twin, then together they could escape the jail. Yay, we're free, yippee! So you had to find a twin to escape the jail, to escape the radical.
How does that work?
I'll show you. But those who couldn't find a twin were stuck in jail forever. Aw, shucks.
Yeah, why is he smiling?
It's a she. She's got lipstick on it and eyelashes. Anyway,
Actually,
aw,
yeah,
shucks.
lipstick on prison.
How does this actually relate to radicals? This will hopefully ring a bell. 75 is the product of 25 and 3. So you need to find two numbers that multiply to get your radicand. When you find a prime number, you circle it. This one's not prime, so you keep going. 25 is 5 times 5, so that's prime and that's prime. Do you see any twins? 5 is a twin, so they escape the radical, and who's left all alone? 3 is left all alone. So the square root of 75 is 5 root 3.
I know what you're
And now you remember it. John.
Everybody. I'll take an award.
Yes, there will be. Let's try some. We already did this one. I want you to copy down 2 and 3 and do that in your notes. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do these. And as always, you just pick which way you like better and you go with it.
I know number 2 already.
Don't say it. You're probably going to do the way number 2 that I'm going to show you. So way number 1 will probably be too laborious for you.
Is this right, Miss?
Labor intensive. Labor, laborious. Isn't that a fun word? Jenny, what numbers do you want to use for 45? Things that multiply to get 45.
Okay.
Thanks, Catherine. Jenny, what'd you say? 15 and 3 or 9 and 5. It doesn't matter which route you take. That's what's cool. Different routes, same destination. Okay, why did I circle 3? It's prime. It's a dead end, okay? 15 is not a dead end. You can keep going. And now I'm at all dead ends. When you have reached all dead ends, you've got all prime numbers, then you look for pairs. Do you see a pair?
Yeah.
Absolutely. A 3 escapes jail. Not 9. 9 doesn't escape. It's a 3. A 3 escapes because some people get confused. And what's left over? We've used that, so a 5 is all alone, stuck in the radical. There we go. So square root of 45 is 3 root 5. All right. Oh. Caleb is gone. Thomas R. is not here.
Don't call Derek.
Oh wait, I didn't do it.
John. 2 numbers that multiply to get 200.
20 and 10.
20 and 10 will work. Neither of those are dead ends, so we need to keep going. 10 is 5 and 2. Prime, prime. What do y'all want to do with 20? 4 and 5, 2 and 10 doesn't matter.
21.
Keep going. Okay. So someone asked, what happens when more than one number escapes? You find the product. Very good. So let's find, I always cross them out so I know who's escaped and who hasn't. I see a pair of 2s, I cross them out and I write it in front. I see a pair of 5s, so I cross them out and I write it in front. Then, one of the 2s didn't find a twin. Stuck in the radical. You may not write that as a final answer. That's not a final answer.
It has to be 10 root 2.
It has to be 10 root 2. You have to actually multiply them. So the answer to number 3 is 10 root 2. Let me show you one more way to do this. This is the only time I'm going to show you, but if you like this way better, you need to do this way every time. Okay, 45 and 200. 45. If you know your perfect squares really well, and if you have good number sense, then I recommend you find the biggest perfect square that will go into these numbers. So for 45, the biggest perfect square is 9. What's the square root of 9? And you're done. And you didn't factor tree anything. Let me show you another one. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 200?
45.
100. 100. So it's 100 times 2. What's the square root of 100? That was way less work than the factor tree. But if you don't have good number sense and you haven't memorized your perfect squares, then this is not going to be your way. But I wanted to show you that because why would you go through all the work of a factor tree if you can just go from there to there? That's fine.
Is it 12?
Wait, can you show that one again?
12 is not a perfect square. 144 is a perfect square.
How come that keep going to?
144?
Shut up.
200 divided by 144. Divided, not minus. Okay, let's keep going. Try these two. Try 4, try 5.
How do you do that?
Same way, except there's already a 5 out front. The other ones that escape, just join the 5.
I have no idea.
18.
I'm so lost.
Can't be lost yet, we just started.
You just finish it.
Yeah, you just keep reducing. The 18 is not simplified. Find things that multiply to get 18. Julie, what do you want to use for 18? Okay. A lot of times people forget about the number that's already outside the radical. Don't forget about that number. 5 was already there. A 3 escapes. And a 2 is left. So your final answer would be 15 root 2.
Like the red sign.
Yes,
So
like
the numbers you circle go with
the 18.
okay.
It's the 18
I know, but
coming down.
the numbers you circle like for the answer is 5 and 3. Oh, and you multiply.
So 5 times 3 root 2 is an answer, but it's not a finished answer. You need to actually multiply them. 5 times 3 is 15. The actual answer is 15 root 2. Okay? All right, number 5. Who's up?
Kyle.
Blake T is actually up. What do you want to use?
75
75
and 2.
and 2. 2's prime. That's a good one. 25 and 3. Is that okay? 5 and 5. So, there was already a 2. Who joined the 2? 5 joined the 2. Who else? No one else. No one else joined. Who's left over in the radical? 2 and a 3. Put them back in the radical.
Oh, you don't multiply?
You do. You do multiply. I just wanted to show my work first. So now 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now, I want everyone to go to your calculator, and I want you to type in 2 root 150. Go. Type it. 2 root 150.
I have a calculator. 24.
Well, then you're behind.
4, 9.
Now I want you to type in 10 root 6.
Do math enter intermediate. It does
232,000.
So guys, every time, like when you take a quiz, please put in the original and then put in your answer and make sure you get the same decimal both times. You can grade your own quiz. You can check your own answers. So please take the time to do it when you get your quiz next week.
That's the thing about algebra, you can do that as much as
I'm gonna come back to this. Yes, Blake, that's right. I want you to let's drill and kill. Let's do it so many times that we get great at it. 6 of them. Do all 6 of these. Go. Juan, I'm going to ask you for your answer to number 3, and Kathy, I'm going to ask you for your answer to number 4. So have those ready. Tyler, when you're ready, you'll do number 1. Just the answer. Adriana, you'll do number 2. Amy, you'll do number 5. And Kyle, you'll do number 6. Whenever you're ready. Put you to sleep, Addison?
Oh gosh, this one's.
Yes. 2 escapes. Awesome. And you don't even have to ask me. You can ask your calculator. 5 through 12. And 10.
Ooh.
Got the same number, so you did it right. It's Tuesday. It's either Monday or Tuesday, but I want to say Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Are you ready? Is that what you want?
She is ready.
No one's done with any of the problems I assigned you?
I did.
Go write it. If I called your name, go write it. You don't have to wait. Are y'all ready? Juan and Kathy? Number 3 and 4? You can type it, and I'll write it on the board for you.
Why? Why didn't you do it?
Oh, no.
I didn't do anything.
What? Yes, you give it to me.
Did they experiment on you, Caleb?
It happens. The camera just went out. What'd you get?
Oops, no, that one
I didn't mean to do
is on the ground. The one you had, that one is still.
No.
Thank you.
Dude, that was on the ground.
Oh my god.
Where'd you grab it?
Juan and Kathy, we're just waiting on y'all. Are all these correct? Did you check them? Derek, wake up. Do you want me to work any of these?
No.
Juan got 8 root 5. I don't remember which one it said. One.
I broke my heart.
Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
And 12 root 6. This is your chance to ask me a question.
Did I get number?
Which one?
I think it was number 1. I got the
This
4,
one.
but
Number 1?
It's okay.
32. 16 times 2, and 16 is 4 times 4. So it's 4, that escapes root 2.
oh, I put 8 more.
Okay, don't multiply them, just the 4 escapes.
Oh, I did.
Don't multiply them, the 4 is a pair, so it escapes.
No, I put 8 and 4 for the
Oh,
I did. I put 8 and 32.
Is it on the ground?
That's the 4. I kept
2, and 2.
4, 2, 2.
Okay, so a 2 escapes, that's a 4, and then a 2 is left over.
You need number
Yeah.
4?
Is it wrong? Is 4 wrong? What's 4?
12 root 30.
Yeah, it was 12 root 30.
Yeah.
Oh.
So 30, although that seems like a big number and you would think that you could reduce 30, but you actually can't. Because 30 is 5 times 6, and 6 is 2 times 3, and you're at a dead end, and there's no pairs.
Oh, okay.
So number 4 is 12 root 30. 30 can't be reduced any further. Remember on your Mad Minute, the answer to square root 30 was square root 30?
Yeah.
You can't reduce it. Yes.
I got the same answer, but I multiplied 5 times 3 and then times 2.
On number 4,
Cause
6.
That's up with 12 times 10.
6 root 120. You did. 12 times 10. 5 times 2. What'd you do next?
And 4 and 3.
4 and 3. 2 and 2.
Yeah, that's what.
So you already had a 6 there. And then what escaped, Blake?
And then 2.
A 2 escaped, and then what?
And then,
Nothing.
yeah,
Nothing.
I put that right.
Okay, so then you put this, and you get 3,
Yeah.
5, 2.
And 15.
So it's 6 times 2 is 12, and then 3 times 2 is 30.
That's like
12. Oh, I thought you were asking. I thought you got it wrong. Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to something a little bit different. Let's say that you're caught without a calculator, and you want to know what the square root of 10 is as a decimal, and you don't have a calculator. So we're really talking number sense here. If you know your perfect squares, then you can approximate radicals like square root of 10, because you can't really compute that radical in your head, but you can get pretty darn close. So, square root of 10, 10 is really close to 9, and 9 is a perfect square. What's the square root of 9? 3. 10 is a little bit more than 9, so square root of 10 will be a little bit more than 3. And it happens to be 3.16.
So we were gonna say it's a little more.
It's a little more than pi.
So we're not going to touch our calculators, and we're going to guess and see how close we can get. What perfect squares are around 19?
16.
16 and 25. So that's 4 and 5. So I know this number falls between 4 and 5. Which one is it closer to, 4 or 5? 4. A little bit closer to 4. So let's guess to the nearest hundredth. What do you want to guess? Don't touch your calculator.
4.2.
6.
That's what I heard first. Okay, let's try the next one. Square root of 24. What perfect squares is that around? Really, that's the only one we need because it's real close to that. Square root of 25 is 5. So maybe a little bit less than 5.
4.87. First one you heard, right?
Must be 4 point something.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay. Woo! What perfect squares are around 51?
49.
49 is lower.
56.
64. That's 7 and 8. So it's between 7 and 8. Which one is it closer to? 7 or 8? 7. So 7 point. 3 what?
7.27.
Get your calculator out. What is it? What's the square root of 19?
4.35.
I said 5.
8, 9.
Oh, thanks.
So 4.36. Very good.
I said that.
4.89.
What's this one?
4.898.
See how close we
You
were?
guys are clutch. 7.4.
7.14.
Oh, too high on that one. Too high. All right. So now we know how to approximate radicals if we don't have a calculator nearby and we don't want to be caught off guard. Like, I don't know what the square root of 10 is because I always ask my calculator. Now you know about what it is, okay? The next thing we're going to do is talk about perfect squares. Isn't it nice when they're perfect? The squares. Number 1 is a perfect square. Number 2 is not. But let's talk about square rooting perfect squares. What is the square root of 9? We can do these each separately. Square root of 9 is 3. My other classes just already knew these. What's the square root of x squared? X. Yeah, good job. We'll talk about it on the next slide. What's the square root of y to the 4th?
Y squared.
So you're correct. What you're asking yourself is how many pairs, how many twins of y do I have? If there's 4 y's, how many pairs are there? 1, 2. So 2 pairs escape. If it is a perfect square, should your answer have a radical in it? No. Because the radical leaves because it's a perfect square. What about simplifying square root of a to the 27. John.
2 radical a times 7.
A times 2? Oh my goodness, that is crazy.
Oh, sorry.
2 radical a times 7?
I think so.
Okay, John, there's a radical and there are 27 a's under it.
Oh, never mind.
There's 27 a's.
Oh.
How many pairs of a's are there?
My B.
There's 13 pairs.
My B.
I'll tell you where she got 13 in a second. And then one of them just couldn't find a twin. Got stuck in jail. Okay.
Like a bad movie.
If there are 27 pairs, that's like a to the 26 times a to the 1. And you know how we did 2 divided by 2 and we got 1, and we did 4 divided by 2 and we got 2?
Yeah.
To find out how many pairs you divide by 2, what's 26 divided by 2?
13.
13. And you're not going to see this a whole lot, but it is good to know how to do it.
Do we have to put a 1 on?
No, I was just trying to show you where it went. No, you wouldn't put the 1. So, I actually didn't want to show this slide, but maybe you already knew it. Squaring and square rooting are called blank operations. Inverse operations, just like addition and multiplication and division. So they undo each other. Like if I took x and I added 2 and then I subtracted 2, what would I get?
X.
X. If I took x and I multiplied by 2 and then I divided by 2, what would I get? X. If I take 15 and I square root it and then I square it, what do I get?
15.
15. Do I get 15 squared? No.
No.
Do I get square root of 15?
No.
Square root of 10 squared.
10.
They cancel. They cancel. Square root of 1,254 squared.
1,204.
3 is a little bit tougher. I'm going to let you write it down. Write down number 3. If you're taking notes. It's not easy. Some of you are going to miss it on your quiz. You probably already named who.
Derek.
Derek. Okay, I see how it is.
I definitely did not say that one.
I said that. Derek, you should really just pay attention. You're gonna pay all the
Okay, so it's really important on number 3 to not forget the 2. To not forget the 2. Because the 2 gets squared as well, so you don't want to leave the 2 out. He, she will be so sad. So I would rewrite this one as 2 squared, square root of 5 squared. Do it. Rewrite it in your notes. Do it. Rewrite it, because you're going to get it wrong. What is 2 squared? 4. What's square root of 5 squared? 5. Very good. The final answer, 2 root 5 squared is 20. It's 4 and it's 5. It's 4 times 5. Okay?
Yay.
How come it's not supposed to be 2 pairs of these?
What? No, remember these just cancel. Don't make it too hard.
Oh, okay.
I said, what's the square root of 10 squared? And you said 10. What's the square root of 5 squared? It's 5. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about today. They were saying something. Okay, he was saying, yay. What's 2x plus 3x?
5x.
Okay, that's easy. Okay. What's 4x plus 3y?
4x.
You mean it's not 7xy?
No.
No. Why is it not 7xy?
Because that's like apple and
Apple and orange, yeah.
They're not the
They're
same
not
variable.
like terms.
variable.
You can only combine like terms. Guess what? These rules apply to radicals as well. You can only add like radicals. So, take a look at, just bring your eyes all the way down to there. 2 root 3 plus 5 root 3. Are those
7 root
like terms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what is it?
7 root 3.
Is it 7 root 6 or is it 7 root 3?
7 root 3.
7 root 3. Very good. Because it's like, in this hand, I'm holding 2 square roots of 3. In this hand, I'm holding 5 square roots of 3. I've got 2 here, I've got 5 here. How many do I have?
7.
I have 7 of them. It doesn't change into square root 6s. I have 7 of them. Okay. What about 4 root 5 plus 3 root 7? 4 root 5 plus 3 root 7. You cannot simplify this at all. Last slide of the day. Write those down and solve them. You need to simplify and then add. Simplify and then add.
Is there clock behind or is it?
My clock is just completely wrong. It says 11:21. The battery died. So the real time, it's actually
11:22.
11:23.
no. I mean it's
I'm just gonna
2:22. So the minute is right. The hour just isn't.
Yeah, I don't look at the hour.
Oh, there you go. Well, then
The
there you go.
hours are for news.
Because you know that
Call
it's
yourself
seven
a
period.
noob? No. Check.
Seven period?
Well, how do you know that's a period?
Because that's in school day.
Never mind.
Are y'all okay with me? Instead of writing 2√75, I wrote 10√3.
Yes.
Okay? Did you do the work? I didn't show my work.
I
can
can
back
show
to
you
it.
this whole time.
That's what I got too.
I didn't hear. I bet it was funny though. What?
This whole time. Were you recording this whole time?
I'm still here.
Oh,
okay.
hi!
Okay. What is 5√3 plus 10√3?
15.
Am I gonna be famous? Like, how many fans do you have?
Oh, what did I do?
You've already asked me that. Alright, what's 5√8 simplified?
Wait, so you get oh yeah, that's
2.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
3√18. We're factor training it. I'm just not showing my work.
9√2.
Yes, 9√2.
So it's
2 of these are like terms. The other one is not. 10√2 minus 9√2.
so we need
One
a root.
1√2. So just √2.
That's 3.
That is the simplified version of that. Very good. Yay, we got through the lesson. Thank you for quieting down so that I could talk.
Bye, everybody.